There's so much for going on out there with people that don't have money to live, right? You know, like I'm okay, but there's a lot of people that's not. There's a lot of people working really, really hard to get what they need to get, right? I worked hard in my day too. I know what it's like to find a place to live and everything, because I mean, I've been in expensive places, had to move and all this stuff over the years. And if somebody would come along and help with these things, maybe things will be different, you know what I mean?
So yeah, what was your experience like before coming to Indwell?
Well, it was pretty rough. I was living from motel to motel, and then I got on welfare and got disability, and I moved in here. So, yeah, it's pretty good. It's a lot better than living in a motel.
Living with my sister and her family. Just a lot of people. Not just because too many people, but also just because with the country. I don't have a vehicle to get around. So this way I can get around, walk around. I have a three-wheeler bike, that's right. So.
I was in a group home at the time, and it wasn't optimal for me at that point, very straightforwardly. I pay such a reasonable rent here, as you know, rents in Hamilton, everybody knows that, you know, and it would be impossible on my ODSP check to like have an apartment and get by. It would not be possible for me.
There's no way I could afford a apartment outside of this establishment.
I got a bag out for an extra. Oh, you got an extra one. That's awesome. What a beautiful surprise. I come from actually working in the homelessness sector in Hamilton. So I was previously working with single men over the age of 19 who were experiencing homelessness in Hamilton. And Indwell is where all of us working in that field really want our clients to end up. So it was kind of a natural progression almost for me, because, you know, it was like coming to the place where I wanted all of my former clients to end up living in the end.
There is a very long list of people who doesn't have access to affordable housing. And this is created an issue of increasing the homelessness.
Market rates are just not sustainable for the average person who may be on assistance, public assistance, or may have precarious employment, may have part-time jobs, even perhaps some full-time jobs. They'd find it very difficult to pay market rents.
If we look at indigenous people or women or people of color, and also people with mental health challenges, that is making it double victimized, I can say, or double challenged for them to access housing.
It was a challenge for us and for myself working in that field, just finding like safe, affordable, secure housing in this city for folks who are only receiving possibly $700 a month to live on, period.
The need for affordable housing is widespread across Ontario. It's not just an urban problem. We're seeing it in rural areas, small towns.
The levels of social assistance in terms of the actual funds people receive have not been updated in a really long time. So you have cost of living that's like increased exponentially, but social assistance has remained really low. So it's really hard for folks to even just like A, find a place to live that they can afford, and B, be able to like, you know, pay for food or pay their phone bill.
I would say that not everybody who lives with Indwell lives with addiction. I would be willing to bet that every person who does live here has come in touch with addiction through somebody they've known in their life.
It's kind of hard sometimes, but like I developed schizophrenia in around my 20s, so it's like looking back at my teenage days to high school, it's kind of uppy. I really don't understand it too much, my past. Well, I've been battling alcoholism for a while. I've been sober for over 20 years. I've been to several programs, a lot of programs, but it finally worked. It just kicked in, you know, spending all my money on drinking.
I've been 21 and a half years sober now, and I have had so many mentors and guides along my way. And if it wasn't for people that God put in my path, I wouldn't be sober and doing well today. And it's a true blessing, one day at a time.
Opioid deaths have been on the rise. There's no question about that. It's doubling year over year.
With the border closures, it made it really challenging for people to access their substance of choice. So it not only created kind of a scarcity, but it hiked the prices up. And people have also been like cutting their substances, so like filling the substance with all kinds of stuff that you would never want to put into your body.
We're able to provide our tenants with naloxone, so we can provide training to staff and tenants with the safe use of naloxone, which can save a person's life in the event that they're experiencing a drug poisoning from an opioid.
Addiction is a hideous disease, and what we try to do is connect people. The opposite of addiction is connection.
Having people that care about you around you in a community of support, that's huge for any progress that you would hope to make for those issues.
You know, I think it can be seen as a moralistic issue when, in fact, we're supporting people who need help. And they need health care.
You can't make headway on that if you don't have a place to live that's safe and that you can afford and that you're not worried about losing.
Affordable housing is so important. It's the basis to everything. Having stability. And if you have stability, you're able to cope a lot better with, COVID, mental health, addiction. Without affordable housing, without that stability, the rest of that's going to affect your life so much more.
We often see that just the stability of housing in and of itself is sometimes enough to bring people up to that level of motivation where they can actually start making positive life changes around things like addiction or mental health, because they have that foundation of stability that gives them the foundation to work on these things, right? As opposed to just running around, am I sleeping here at night? Am I sleeping here? Like, this person's after me for money, and it's a pretty different world. It's like a world within a world, if that makes sense, that sometimes people don't see unless they're a part of that world.